to the MSC race. One man has all the clues to help you solve your blues.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Is his name, and rockets are his game. Bolder than any man, crazy creations are his plan. Cities, Kerbal, and workers, they all are at his command. Oh God, that's all I can think of. Chat bothers him all day and night, but Eej always puts up a fight. Weird impressions, internet memes, EA is always so extreme. I'm not a good songwriter as you can.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Turbo stuck in space, well, you're trying to get to the MSC race. One man has all the clues to help you solve your blues. EJ's his name, and rockets are his game. Bolder than any man, crazy creations are his plan. Cities, Kerbal, and workers, they all are at his command. I don't know if that's all I can think of. Chat bothers him all day and night, but Eej always puts up a fight. Weird impressions, internet memes, EA's always so extreme. I'm not a good songwriter as you can.
Day and night up on the road, California sun it glowed. Heading east to Boston town, stopping in Florida bound. Driving truck through desert heat, brakes went out, just couldn't beat. Cooling system filled with mud, sweat was dripping like a flood. Road trip warriors, west to east so glorious. Challenges can't bring us down. Drive until we hit the town. Geek Nation, join the quest. Never stopping for a rest. Fixing problems on the way. Together nothing's in our way. Road trip warriors, west to east so glorious. Challenges can't bring us down. Drive until we hit the town. Beating through the rain, through the struggle and the pain. EJ Arno, Geek Nation crew, drive on till the sky is blue. Geek Nation, join the quest. Never stopping for a rest. Fixing problems on the way. Together nothing's in our way. Road trip warriors, west to east so glorious. Challenges can't bring us down. Drive until we hit the town. Through the heat and through the rain, through the struggle and the pain. EJ Erno, Geek Nation crew, drive on till the sky is blue.
Yo, what's up? How you doing? Jack convinced me to do an auto stream today. I wasn't gonna do one, guys, because I am that's the right way to say it. There's a lot of small things to do to finish, like getting that trunk pan and everything kind of finding its home. There's a lot of small stuff, especially doing this without a frame jig. So there's a bunch of tiny things that I've been working on in the car. Like I've been trying to work on it for 10 to 15 minutes every day, but yeah, today I had some time. So let's get out in the garage, dude. Did something bad happen to Stoke? It was planned, goalie. They blew up a test article at their test stand. I think it's in Idaho, I think. It was part of their structural qualification program. Yeah, they blew up. Stoke had a destructive test. They popped the tank yesterday, or this morning, I guess. Anyway. Yep. Okay, cool. With that being said, let's make sure that this all loads up. Now we'll go out there and get the lapel mics ready to go. Hey, all right. She's looking pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. I'll bring you guys up to speed here in a moment. Let me go out there. Stand by for loss of signal from the office as expected. You know what? I'm going to just put the background music on, but we'll put it on low. All right. Cool. I'm going out there. Testing. How's the chitty chitty bang bang doing? Oh, it's doing all right. Yeah, well, so much for that. It didn't really work. I found the socks for these dang mics, but test. We got a good test. Hey, Snarfer, what's going on, man? Small items of progress. Yeah, it's just not the stuff that I've been working on, guys, for the car is just not anything that's going to like get you long format content. Like it's not anything that's going to give you, like I can't sit here and do like a 3 to 4 hour stream if I'm just, it's tapping up welding hole, like pinholes in the frame. Like, I mean, we could, but you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know, convincing myself. Shave me from my shelf. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, so which camera am I on? That camera. All right, so I have made progress. With that being said, let me flip to the Vivitar. Yeah, I lost power. I lost power, and the Vivitar decided to show the whole UI again. So that's good. I'll switch to another camera. Hold on. There we go. So this thing really hasn't changed much. Have you seen the new NASA Starship HLS info drop? I have not, Rarest. No. Get your mind off all the bad news lately. Guys, you know, yeah, I mean, Starfleet, if we're talking about NASA, I have a feeling everything's going to work out. I don't think NASA's going anywhere. I really don't. I'm not saying it's too big to fail, but I don't think that NASA's, I mean, I don't think the president would make that type of move. I really don't. But who knows? Okay, so what have we gotten done? This doesn't look that much far off from the last time you guys saw this thing. I have done a ton of measuring and cleaning everything, dude. Like, it is a pain in the butt to get this thing to sit straight on the frame rails, especially if we've patched them. You know, I've cleaned up a lot of pinholes in the frame, ground down a lot of welds to get the thing nice, to make the frame rails look nice and smooth. I've pretty much recentered this cross member back here, the rear cross member. I've recentered it a lot. I don't know how many times I've had this and this off of the car, the trunk pan and the cross member. It's a lot. I lost count. This is what I mean about 10, 15 minutes. Like, every day I come in here, put the trunk pan in, check for fitment on something, and then take it out. The cool news is, and you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have streamed this. Cool thing is that I burned in the gas tank straps to the, front of the trunk pan. There's two kind of hooks that go on the front of the pan. And if you guys look, you can see where they the burn through marks where they're on the back. You can just barely see them. One's there and one's there. And that's where the gas tank kind of hooks up to the front of the pan. And I test fitted the gas tank. Gas tank fits. It fits perfect. I got the thing to fit very nicely. I'll show you the straps if you want to see them, because I got to take the trunk pan out. HLS will be in the critical design review in early 2026. Nice. You're gonna put an extra fuel cell in the trunk. It's got like an 18-gallon tank, dude. I don't think so. What we are gonna have to do with the fuel tank, Fleiken, is figure out a way to put an electric pump in it, or put an inline electric pump, because the motor that we're switching to is fuel injection, and fuel injection requires fuel line and a pump that produces about 50-60 psi in the line to feed the injectors correctly. You have to back pressurize your fuel injectors, and if you don't, you're not going to be able to deliver enough fuel for the motor. So, yeah, we're going to have to, I'm sure someone makes an inline electric fuel pump for the tank, or somebody makes an in-tank modification for B-body Chrysler fuel pumps to switch them to fuel injection. I'm sure that's a thing. But yeah, I started cleaning up the gas tank straps and a bunch of other things. Here, let me take the pan out, I'm going to take the trunk pan out and I'm going to show you guys what else I've been working on. It's a bunch of small stuff, but once again, there is pretty cool things. Let me go up to the high cam. It's easier this way. I think an inline pump would be best. Yeah, we're probably going to have to come up with something. I like in-tank, personally. I think an in-tank pump is better because then your pump isn't exposed to the elements. It's inside of the fuel tank. I like that. What are the benefits and drawbacks of both types of pumps? Oh, hey, Os, what's going on? In-tank, so Tessa, I like in-tank pumps. I like the pump submerged in fuel. It keeps it cool, prevents your fuel pump from dying. That's why every modern internal combustion engine car has the fuel pump in the tank. If the pump is actually at the very bottom of your sending unit in the tank, and it's at the bottom of the tank with a pickup, like there's a filter pickup, right? So it doesn't suck in crap that's in fuel, right? And the pump is submerged. It's submerged inside of the tank, keeps it nice and cool. I like that. The pump uses fuel to cool itself. And if it's submerged, it can disperse the heat, so you're less likely to burn out a fuel pump. Fuel pumps will burn out if they get fuel starved. And if it's submerged in the pump, it's pretty much never going to get fuel starved unless you run out of gas. That's right, Noah, yes, protection of the pump. Inline pumps, so Tessa, the trade-off here is that inline pumps are probably easier. It's probably easier for me to do one. I have an inline fuel pump right here. Everybody that in the YouTube automotive world calls them clicky clackies. I have a clicky clacky right here. But this is EFI for a carburetor. Or not EFI, this is an electric fuel pump for a carburetor. This thing only produces 4 to 7 PSI, 38 GPH. That's not a lot. I use this if a fuel tank for if a fuel tank for a car isn't working. So an inline pump would probably be easier to do. You wouldn't have to go screw with the sending unit. But if I have to mess with the sending unit, and so what I was thinking, what we could do is I could take, the Dodge Ram that we're gonna take the motor out of and stuff. I could drop that fuel tank and take the pump out of that, and we could jerry-rig that to the Coronet's sending pump. We just make one. Yeah. Ever since that fiasco with my accountant, I got to kind of keep this low budget. That is the other reason why I haven't done much car streams, because I need quarters. We need quarter panels. And I have to buy them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking, this is not me asking for money. Don't do that. You guys have given enough for the car. I'm dead serious. ARJ, I'm looking at you. Don't. I'm like dead serious. I will shut that off. I need quarter panels. My quarter panels are gone. We need to put them in. We need new ones.
Discovery,
and those need to be fitted. That needs to be fitted for the trunk extensions and the trunk cross member and stuff. Basically, Mopar in the 60s made one type of trunk pan, and then they made extensions. And the extensions for the pan are different depending on what type of car it is. So Chrysler made like 40 different types of cars on their B platform. There's Coronets, there's Super Bs, there's Roadrunners, Satellite Sports, Charger, Superbird, what else? GTX. So what they did was they made one type of chassis and made as many different cars as possible. So the main pan, all the cars have the main pan. This is the same main pan that goes in a Dodge Charger, like a 69 Charger. But the extensions are different and the quarters are different. They just changed the outsides. If your tank has the depth, you can install the ram pump assembly. I was thinking we could just make one. I'll take the Dodge, the Coronet's sending unit, keep the sending unit, and then we could drill the holes in the top for the wires, grommet them, and then put the electronic fuel pump in there. I mean, that's probably a little bit more difficult than I'm making it out to be, but I don't see why we couldn't do that. That'd be pretty cool. We just borrow the wire harness right out of the Dodge Ram. What are your plans for painting? Leaving the patina? No. No. I don't want to. I want to paint it. The patina is cool. The distressed look is cool. Dude, I don't want to put all this freaking work into this car and have the outside look like a piece of trash. That and I don't know. The patina look is kind of for, you know, I mean, this car is a restoration at this point. It's a resto, and I'm fine with that. That was my plan, right? I don't want to put all this work, put all this nice stuff on here, and then have the outside look like a piece of dookie. I'd rather paint it. And I don't know where I'm gonna get the budget for that, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. We'll make it. I'll skim a little bit off the Kerbal streams, and we'll go from there. Yeah, dude, I don't want to do all the work on this damn car and then have it look like trash on the outside. I mean, that is kind of cool. It is kind of cool. I don't know. But like, see, if I do the quarters, right, there's going to be no patina here because you have to buy a whole damn quarter panel, right? There's going to be no patina left. Like, the patina is just going to be on the top. I don't know. Maybe that would look cool. Who knows? Maybe that would look sick. You know, just keep the patch and just make it look nice, and then just paint the panel a different color. I don't know. I just don't like patina cars are for cars that you just need a little bit,
Go at throttle up.
and you just want to get it running and you just want to drive it. Like that's cool. I don't like full restos that have fake patina and stuff. Like, that's not really my style. My sub won't have sequential digits again until 2035. 123 months. 123 from Kurlani. Thank you. New gas tank. I already have a new gas tank. I did replace the gas tank on this car in 2017. It's a zinc coated tank. It's fine. I'd prefer to I'd prefer to have the stock tank in there. Like, guys, to be honest, what I do want this car to look like when we're done, I want it to just look like a garden variety Coronet 440 from 1969. That's it. I don't want it to look on the outside. I don't want anybody to know that there's a 300 horsepower or 340 horsepower Gen 3 Hemi under the hood. I want the interior to look as stock as possible with all the modern stuff kind of tucked away. That's what I'm aiming for. If I take this to a show, if I kept the hood down at a glance, all right, cool. It's a four-door Coronet. Who cares? Right? But then you pop the hood and people are like, what is that? Why is that there? Don't worry about it. It's there because it's cool. That's what I'm aiming for. Sleeper Coronet. Yes, I don't. And that's the other reason why I don't want patina. I don't believe. As I get older, I wanted, when I was younger, I wanted the car to be loud. I wanted it to be loud. I wanted it to be obnoxious. I wanted to drive around and annoy people with a really loud exhaust. This thing was straight piped. It was super loud when I drove it around 8 or 9 years ago. Super loud, race car loud, to the point where the exhaust was probably violating noise ordinances. And that was cool for the time, but that's not what I want. I don't want the attention nowadays, dude. I really don't. I want to be able to drive this to the grocery store and not have people come up to it and be like, oh man, what is this? Just want to drive it to the store. Just want to drive it to the store and get my damn groceries. Hey, Tiger Fang, 61 months. How hard would it be to transplant the Ram's tank into the Coronet? It's a saddle tank. Not a saddle tank. It's a frame-mounted tank, Tesla. You don't want to do that. So the pickup truck has frame rails, and the tank is sitting on the inside of the frame rails. It's kind of a side tank. It won't fit in this design. Dude. All right. If you're like, oh, what about this? What about this? Figure out a solution that uses the stock tank if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Sassy grass green would look nice. Jason, believe it or not, I like the B3 blue. I think this sky blue looks great, and I think the car looks fantastic when it's painted that color. And then I'm going to color match the rims too. The rims are going to be the color of the car. I have the hubcaps for the original tires here, and the hubcaps are cool, don't get me wrong. They go on like that. That's cool, don't get me wrong, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that because I'm switching to a bigger rim and tire. Like, there will be small subtleties with this car. If you're a Mopar fan, if you like classic Mopars like me, you'll look at it and you'll be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is that there? You know, like, it's gonna be subtle. Like, I wanna drive this to a show and I want it to be completely unassuming. People will just walk by it. That's what I want. I'm trying to do the opposite of attention. I'm trying to make it look like the most plain Jane car from the 1960s as possible. But a plain Jane car with 400 horsepower and 15x8, 275/75, or 275/60 R15 tires front and back. So there will be signs if you know what to look for. I don't want a white vinyl top. This car did not come with a white vinyl. It had a black vinyl top. It's long gone. I don't want to do that. Vinyl tops will make the roof rust. Even if I put a brand new one on there, I don't want that. What I want to do, and I did see a YouTuber do this, I saw Pole Barn Garage do this. Either paint the whole car and get rid of all the vinyl top trim. I don't want any of that. Or you bedline the roof. Put bed liner on it with spray paint bed liner. It looks like a vinyl top and it'll seal it up. Pretty cool. I do like it. I like that idea. However, I'm not sure that's the coolest thing to do if I have the rest of the car painted. The bed liner top is kind of a low buck thing, and if I want this car to be painted and unassuming looking, I don't want that. Are you using the existing transmission? Jason, I'm still looking around for the right transmission that I want. With that being said, there's a 904 Torque Flight in this thing. That's Mopar's light duty 3-speed automatic transmission from the 60s. You can bolt the 904 with a custom torque converter, with a special torque converter. Everybody makes them. Like, you could buy it off the shelf at this point. You can bolt that to a 5.7 Hemi. It'll work. I wouldn't dog on it. Like, I wouldn't get on the gas if we're going to do that. But the ideal transmission that I'm looking for is a Mopar 47RH. 47RH is a 727 transmission, which is initially a 3-speed automatic heavy-duty transmission. They put it in Chargers and stuff. The RH means that it's overdrive with hydraulics. That's a Mopar transmission from the 90s. They put it in Dodge Rams and vans and stuff. 47RH is a 4-speed automatic. So I want a heavy-duty 4-speed hydraulic automatic behind the Hemi. That should be enough. And we're gonna need a rear end for this thing. It has a 7 1/4 pinion rear end. That is Mopar's extreme light-duty rear end. Gen 3 Hemi with a 47RH behind it, making like 300 horsepower, will blow that rear end out the back of the car. Yeah, it won't be great. Hey Kelly, what's going on? Are you gonna paint the top matte black? Maybe. Holly does make a drop-in fuel pump for your tank. It's awfully priced at $411. Yeah, Rarest, I'll make my own. Thank you very much. Were you talking about a Dana or something? A Dana 60. Dana is the company that makes those, and the highest trim level 69 Dodge Chargers and Dodge Coronets, so like Coronet RTs, Coronet Super Bs, like, and they came with a Dana 60 rear end, which is an extreme heavy duty rear end. The Dana 60s would be behind 446 packs, so I was about to say tri-power. Sorry, Mopar people. Been hanging around with too many GM guys. So the Dana 60 would have, it's special order, and it would have been behind like Gen 2 Hemis, so 426 Hemis, 440 Magnums, and 446 packs. So there was like, there's 3 different types of rear ends that you could have put in these, that Chrysler put in these cars from the factory. So there's a 7 1/4 light duty, 8 3/4 medium to heavy duty, and then the Dana 60, which is like, a Dana 60 with, I think Mopar calls it a shore grip or something. It's limited slip diff. So a Dana 60 with limited slip would be really nice for this car. Don't like saying it, but we should put a 9-inch in her. I mean, I kind of want to keep it all Mopar parts. And if we found an 8 3/4 goalie for short money with like 370s in it, 373s, it looks like a 9-inch. Good enough. Good enough. It looks the same. Yeah, man. This is here. Let me take the trunk pan out. I'll talk and work. Taking the pan out for the 150th freaking time. So, let me come over here and I'll show you what I've done here. There we go. All right, so check it out. See the straps? Can you see those? Hold on. Yeah, you can't really see them. Hold on, let me get another camera. So I got the straps in. This one moved just a little bit when I burned it in, just a smidge, but they're, for the most part, pretty straight. This one kind of went that way a little bit, but that doesn't matter as long as this point is more or less aligned here. So that's where it hangs. That's where the gas tank straps hang from, right there and right there. And yeah, as long as they're about 10 inches apart, you're good to go. I measured the center line and I measured equidistantly, and then of course when I went to burn this thing in, my hand slipped and it moved a little bit that way. It's not that big of a deal. This is just as precise as they would have done from the factory. So that's there. And then what I need to do is so this piece right here, this is the trunk cross member. You can see there's a relief in the pan right there and right there, and that piece goes right here. The red lines that you see on there are me, this is when I put the gas tank in. That's where it picked up on the frame rail, left to right, so I made sure I got this thing nice and centered. And we still have to burn this in. This goes on the frame rails first. But I'm noticing the fitment on it is caca. Oh. That's not great. Not great, Bob. This thing should conform. It should be like that. See that right there? Yeah, that's how that needs to go. I'm gonna have to get this thing burned into the car. First, this piece goes right there. That piece goes right there. Going to redo that spring perch? Yeah, probably. Everything is level. Everything is perfectly level here. Like if I take this, see that? Perfect. We go over here for this leaf spring perch. Perfect. Now, this is on me because I'm not very good at this and I'm learning. But if we look at this one, I should have measured this before we burn this in. Look, it's way out. Like to the point where that's not even factory tolerance. This thing is tilted down. Now, the reason why that happened is because I initially had a big metal brace that went from there to there. I burned that in when I took the trunk apart. It was bracing and it looked like that bracing over there. See all this triangulation? I had some bracing going from there to there. The thing about that is the bracing was holding this frame rail out because that frame rail, this entire area right here, that whole thing rusted. It rusted out completely. So this frame rail was kind of just hanging in 3D space, and over time, you know, driving the car around like that, it bent it out that way. The frame rail didn't come perfectly straight, it started to move like this. When you step on the gas, it torques that rear end, and this whole structure twists a little bit. So when it twists, it twisted this thing out that way. My bracing had that frame rail out this way. So when I burned the leaf spring perch in, when I welded it in, it was level. And then when I realized that this frame rail right here was not, I undid my bracing and then I re-leveled it. And when I re-leveled it, the frame rail, which was out and the leaf spring being straight, when I bent it back into position, the leaf spring bent down. So it's way out. I'm gonna need to, we gotta take it apart. I don't like that. This is not a case, that is not a case of it's good enough. That is bad. That's out of factory spec. And factory spec is basically the Grand Canyon on these cars. That's no good. I already ground off one of the welds right there. I gotta take this leaf spring perch out and we have to remount it. We have to remount it with the frame rails the way they are now. Yeah, it's no good. This thing it's too high and it's bent. It needs to go down a little bit and it needs to be leveled. Yeah, it's just too high. The reason why I couldn't ever get this frame rail, I couldn't get the trunk pan to sit flat on this frame rail. The reason why that happened is because this is too high. I burned it in too high and we burned it in crooked, which once again, that's my fault. Totally on me. But yeah, the other thing is that our frame rail, the frame rail flange, this is too low. When I bent this piece to put this piece in, it was too low. So we got to zap this out and then I have to put in a new piece and weld it up a little bit higher. Once again, that's on me. This side came in great. I basically did the same thing over here and it came in perfect, even though my welds are terrible on this side. Everything lined up perfectly over here. The welds are terrible. Everything didn't line up perfectly over here and the welds are really good because, you know, streamer luck. So another thing that I did was I welded in the, I welded in the captive nuts. So that nut's welded. And I know, guys, it's a little bit off center. Don't worry about that. It's centered to the rest of the car. It's that my extension piece that I've made is crooked. It's centered. I know it doesn't look centered in the frame rail channel, but it is. It's centered to the car. It's just my extension piece is going this way, just a little bit. And then I also drilled the hole for the crossmember bumper bolt right there. Right here. The other thing that I did, I started these brackets right here. Hang on. These brackets, it was plated. It was just a plate last time you saw it. I started cutting the relief holes because the bumper bolts, the bumper extension mounts go here, here, one through that captive and the other one through there. There's 4 of them. And I started making sure that that was all straight. Now, if you guys see check mark and X's, that's just me leaving notes with the paint pen. It's leaving notes, and I made marks for correct fitment and stuff up here for the tabs and whatever to make sure that everything was nice and straight. Like I said, this is perfectly level. Cross member is perfectly level. The driver's side frame rail is pretty straightforward. The flanges got to be raised right there, but the leaf spring is out. The leaf spring perch, you can see it. If we just back out our view and you just kind of sit here and look, you can see that you can see it's down. That's on me. Once again, inexperience. I should have been more patient, but it's okay. So what I was planning on doing, dudes, what I want to do is we got to take the cross member out. I got to take the cross member out to drill the holes to plug weld it to the frame. And then I got to redo those tabs. I cut them off because I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on here with this. Oh, that reminds me. How did I get this all level? How did I get it to work? Like, how'd you do it then? Because you were having so many problems. Well, the problem is right there. See that? This is not supposed to be flush immediately to this. See the washers there? I have the bolt going through and there's 3 washers in line right here. And once the 3 washers, I put the 3 washers in there and shimmed this flange, right? For mock-up purposes, it's not gonna be like that on the actual car, right? Once I did that, and then I got the rear cross member level with the shims right there and right there, everything fell into alignment. I just did this yesterday and I got it perfect. The trunk pin is sitting flush on that rail because of those shims. So here's why that's a thing. From the factory, they wouldn't put the bumper bolts in when they were putting this all together. The bumper bolts came later, right? They come later. I'm using my bumper bolts at this point to line everything up, which, once again, I'm doing that because I don't have a frame rail jig. This is a good way to hold this thing in there and just check for alignment, right? The bumper bolts would have came later. And then from the factory, some guy with an impact gun would have, or a torque wrench or something, would have installed that bumper bolt, and that flange, right, would have basically ended up being pushed into the bottom of the frame rail, right? So the assembly process is what was screwing with me here, right? Because every car that I took a picture of, that bottom tab wasn't shimmed. It was flush, but it was also wavy because somebody sent that bolt through there to get the bumper on, and it actually bends it up into position later down the assembly line, from what I understand. Like, I did a little bit of research, could be wrong on that, but once I shimmed both of these, everything lined up. Like, I felt I heard the trunk pin just fall into place, and it was flush basically the whole way here and the whole way there. So that's good. You need an old Dodge Line work to come in the show and show you the finer points of this thing. Nobody around here likes Mopars, man. It's all Ford and Chevy, which is fine, whatever. Because Ford and Chevy had plants here, Dodge did not have a plant here. At least to my knowledge. Hey, Agumori. So, yeah, exactly, Coltech. When I shimmed it and we put the trunk pan in, I heard it bonk. I heard it fall into place, and I'm like, yep, that was it. But because I didn't do my bracing right, that thing is bent. Now I could just weld the trunk pan in and then bend that leaf spring up into position, but I'm worried about alignment to the quarter in the wheel well if we do that. The other thing that I've been doing, dudes, is I've been going down in the wheel well and I've been banging the wheel well back into shape and trying to fix as much of that in there as I can. If you look, it's kind of back to being its wheelhouse shape. Obviously, we're missing some parts. I took reference pictures on cars that were complete about what that area looks like, because that one is really bad. But I can use this one to figure out the patch that I need to replace there, and then we can build it in over here and then build that one out over there. That is going to take some time. But the other thing that I did, another one, is if you look at the rear pan right there where the floor starts, that's all nice and clean. I went in there with a grinder, not a grinder, a wire wheel, and cleaned up all of that in there. Here, let me show you. Just move the trunk pan a little bit. If you see, I went in here and cleaned all that out. I cleaned out all the old seam sealer. Yes, I was wearing a mask. I don't know what the hell's in that seam sealer. It's not, it ain't natural. It ain't natural, boy, I tell you what. But yeah, that's, I think that's everything. I think that's everything that I've done since the last time you guys saw this thing. It is a good bit of progress, but yeah, it's just a lot of small things. Just a lot of small stuff. My name Jeff. My name Jeff with the five stream streak. All right. My summer car in real life. Yeah. The car, that one works. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. This one, I mean, this one runs for what it's worth. It runs, just doesn't drive. Doesn't drive because there's no rear of the car. But we are rapidly approaching fixing that. So yeah, that's the update. Where was I? What was I doing when I was talking to you guys? So I was, yeah, we got to take that leaf spring perch out and we got to realign it. Drilling that is going to suck. Drilling that out is going to really suck. But I do have some carbide hole saws here that actually probably would, that article, viewer article 5 actually gave to me. They're carbide hole saws, and we should be able to get the welds out with these things. Should, hopefully. Should. It's only 8 welds. It's 8 plug welds, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. Shouldn't be too bad. And once again, like I don't need to, we can take the leaf spring perch, we can take it out. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just wondering how the heck I burned that. Well, no, I know how I burned the stupid thing in crooked. The whole frame rail was bent. But that does give me an excuse to get in there, and there's a lot of pinholes in the passenger's or the driver's side frame rail. There's a lot of pinholes in it left over from me patching it because there was not much frame rail left. Most of that is metal that we put in there in previous episodes. So yeah, dude, the frame rail from basically like here back is, with the exception of the perch, is, yeah, I salvaged as much as we could, but that's mostly me. That's mostly me. Mostly. So that'll give me a good excuse to go in there and get the brass hammer in there and just patch some stuff up. Make sure that the welds are nice. Oh, speaking of the welder, I got more wire for it, so we have plenty of wire for a long time, so we can do a lot of welding. We're gonna need to. But yeah, once I get the leaf spring perch recentered, if I get that thing, if I get the fitment on that to the pan good, yeah, once we get that good, then we are good to drill the holes in the cross member. We're good to drill the holes in the rear cross to weld them to the frame, weld it to the frame rails, and then the trunk cross member as well. Yeah. Yeah, man. We're, and then, so once the leaf spring perch is fixed, rear cross member's welded in, trunk cross member welded in, we will make our final marks for the trunk, and then start drilling holes in that dang thing. Yeah, pretty good. The other thing that I got to do is what's left of my quarter panels, we need to make sure that we mock up the trunk extensions before we weld the pan in. We got to mock up the trunk extensions and the trunk cross member extension pieces here and here, so I can have a datum for where the new quarter panels are going to be. So right now, right here, let me get a closer camera. This camera is what I want. So if you guys look, there's not much left here. This is why we need new quarters. Fellas, the quarter panel is supposed to go down to here, where my finger is. That's the bottom of it. But you can see where the old extension, you can see it where it was. See the extension right there? The spot welds are still somehow holding this thing together, right? Somehow. So I'm gonna see if we can get this piece right here off, and that should give me a good datum point. This should give me a good datum for where the quarter panel, when we go to replace this Titanicness back here, that should give me a good spot as to where the trunk extension should be. And so we'll mock it up to the crappy stuff, get the trunk extension in as close a place to home as we possibly can, right? And then we'll cut this crap out, cut this nonsense out. And then we'll go to do the quarters. So yeah, that's where I'm at, dude. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff to do. But Cam. But the thing is that's what I signed up for. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to figure out what that means. What does it mean when a car is too far gone? Now I have a very good understanding of why people say, I'm not doing that. That car's too far gone. It's not worth saving, etc., etc. Now, personally, I don't believe that, but whatever. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's just a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding, a lot of just fitting things. I mean, I say it's taking a while. If I was working on this like 8 hours a day, probably get it done on a pretty reasonable time scale. The problem is that I don't do that. The problem is that I work on it for like 15 minutes a day. So you just got to bite off a little one piece at a time and go from there. Yeah, the big thing that I have to do, guys, is just get that leaf spring perch. I got to get that leaf spring perch straight. This is not, it's not a question of like, oh, come on, EJ, you're just being anal retentive. You're just being anal retentive, it'll be fine. No. I'm not, it's out, it's crooked, it's bad. It needs to be fixed. It's not even good for factory spec. good to see you haven't lost hope of restoring the coronet. No, Shy, I never lost hope. It's just the whole thing going on with the accountant kind of changed my plans a little bit. And my motherboard frying kind of screwed the pace that I have that I was going at. You know, we were working on this thing 5 days a week in July. Working on it 5 days a week, dude. What I'm trying to do is get back to doing that and also playing Kerbal. And I don't really want to work on the car at night either for like after hours because I'm tired and I can't think straight. It's better to work on it in the morning when I have a fresh mind. Don't forget it was much worse than you thought. Well, that was the whole point, to figure out, you know, how bad is it for real? It was pretty bad. Need it ready for a Neutron launch. Now you understand. Hey, Tree Hugger, what's up, man? How you doing? But yeah, no, I never lost hope. It's just, yeah, I'm persistent, man. We'll just keep working on it. Easy peasy. We'll just keep working on it. But yeah, that's the update, dudes. That's where we're at. I gotta get that leaf spring out of there. And don't take this the wrong way, fellas. I'm probably gonna do it off stream. I'll give you guys an update after. I gotta do it off stream. I just need to singularly focus on that and get that thing straight and not have to worry about the production and talking to you guys, etc., etc. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I could probably get away with it, but I just want a clear mind. When you're streaming, this is gonna sound weird. Streaming makes you dumber. Not the fact, like, not it's like, oh, you stream, now you're taking an IQ debuff, right? Like, no, it's hard. It's tough to think when you know you have a camera in your face. That's the right way to say it. It's tough. It's tough to think. Like, if you've ever done streaming, you ever streamed in front of people, or if you've ever performed in front of people, you know what I mean. You mean we get more car streams over the winter? Yep, it splits your focus, exactly. It's like doing math in front of people. Yeah, it screws with you. And like with Kerbal and stuff, guys, it doesn't bother me because I've streamed so much Kerbal, and I'm confident that I know the subject matter that we can explain it, right? But you're still seeing me screw things up. It happens. I do not want to screw this thing up because in Kerbal, if we screw it up, whatever. You lost some cash, send another one, right? Like in Kerbal, you screw it up, it's a video game. If you screw this thing up, you know, you're putting your hide on the line, and I don't, nah, I'm good. I have to make sure this is right. I was actually curious about that. How do you stream and do all this stuff? Matt, I've been doing it for a while. Nah, it's just metal. It's just metal. Yeah, it's just metal. That's right. Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that leaf spring perch probably sometime this week. Drilling that thing out is gonna suck. It's gonna be awful. But hey, it is what it be. So it do. That'll give me an excuse to clean up that frame rail and make it look real good. Yeah, I don't want like any welding beads or anything like around. I want it to just look nice. And that'll help me with, that will help me with alignment and stuff too. Beat it to fit, paint it to match. Yeah, there you go. The best part is you're learning to tackle anything. Eventually you look at any metalwork and say, bring it on. Yeah, not so fun. I've definitely gained a lot of confidence in this. This is, I know a lot, like, dude, if I started this project over right now, there would be a lot of things that I've done that I would do differently. But that's, once again, you can either pay, you can go pay somebody to educate you, or you can just do it and pay money in experience, right? You're gonna have to pay for that experience one way or another, right? I like this way, it works for me. But yeah. It's far too important to get sidetracked and have a casual accident later. Yep. Yeah, you can get a job welding Starship. I am not a good enough welder to do that. Just got here, what car is this? Oh, Lefty, this is my 1969 Dodge Coronet. It's under a pile of stuff right now, but it's a 69 Coronet. It's a sedan, so it's got 4 doors and a post in the center, so it's got a B-pillar. And this is the car that I'm restoring on stream. Yeah, hard to tell what car it is right now because it's missing so many parts, but yeah. I love 1960s Mopars. They're so cool. I mean, I love any 1960s car, let's be real. Yeah. Lefty, this car was rough. Very rough. To the point where I probably shouldn't be restoring it. It's not really a worthwhile investment on the car commodity market to restore a car like this. But I didn't do it because I'm trying to get a return on investment. I did it because I want to learn. Just checking. Car stream today and more Kerbal later. We should probably be switching up to KSP soon. Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing a car stream. I just, I was talking with some people in chat before the stream and they were like, hey, let's give us an update. I'm like, okay, cool. So, yeah. That's where we're at, man. Your first car is a 66 Bel Air 4-door, almost in the same color. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Lefty, so you get it. The 4-doors are cheaper. That's the other reason I'm restoring a sedan. I can't afford a 2-door. You want a 2-door shell that's in even the condition that this was in? You're paying $5 to $6 grand. For $5 to $6 grand, I can buy this car, register it, put it on the road, and do a full restoration, doing all the labor myself for the same price. Why the hell would I buy a shell, right? And I wanted to learn. So if I do get a nice car, if we do get like a Plymouth Roadrunner, like a 69 Roadrunner in the future, I'll know how to, I know exactly how to fix that. Anything on the car, Just curious, what did you do before streaming? Chinga, name. I worked on a loading dock. You really want to know? On paper. Anything that I know about cars is either learned through osmosis from other car guys in my family or just self-taught. I did go to college though. I have a bachelor's in computer animation, so I understand computer animation and CAD systems. So I understand like 3D really, really well, how stuff goes together in 3D space. But yeah, welding, grinding, wrenching. Working on a loading dock doesn't teach you that, but Lefty, you're looking for a 49 to 52 Chevy 2-door. Rotten junk is 4K, 4-door driver is 3 to 4K. Exactly, dude. That's why I call this project, Lefty, the Crew Cab Charger. It's Crew Cab Charger. Because when I'm done with this project, it's going to go faster than a 446 pack. I have a Gen 3 Hemi sitting outside. I have an 04 Dodge Ram donor vehicle out there. It's right outside my garage door. And when the shell on this car is good to go, I'm pulling that Hemi and we're putting the Hemi in here and then I'll build the Hemi. Yeah, it'll have a Gen 3 Hemi in it, right? We'll have a Gen 3 Hemi in it with a nice transmission behind it, right? And this car will make way more horsepower than any factory Mopar from the 60s, even a big block. It's Crew Cab, man. 4 doors, baby. It's Crew Cab. So, yeah, Crew Cab Charger. That's the name of this project. Obviously, they never made a 4-door Charger in the 60s. They made a 4-door Charger later. When Daimler owned Chrysler, they came out with a 4-door Charger, which is a taxi cab, but that's another story. Yep, that'll be a healthy, reliable driver. That's the whole idea, dude. The whole idea with this This is to have a really nice, inconspicuous, plain Jane looking 69 Coronet that, you know, if you saw it driving down the road, nobody would bat an eye. But you have a Gen 3 Hemi under the hood with posi out back, right? And if you want to get in on it, it'll go. But I don't want it to be loud. I want the exhaust to just, I want it to be quiet, inconspicuous, but if you get on it, it'll go. No, I don't want to do exhaust cutouts either, just in case anybody's wondering. But yeah, I want this to just look like a slant 6 car, basically. It is a Coronet 500, so it's the highest trim level for Coronets in 69, but I want to make it look like a Coronet 440. I'm going to take all the badging off. I mean, I'll keep it because it's worth money, right? For Mopar people. Maybe sell it, I don't know. But I want this to just look like a regular Coronet 440, maybe with a couple of things here and there to hint that, you know, if you know Mopars, that it might have a little bit more under the hood. Like if you took a 65 Bel Air 4-door, right, and you took the 225 logo or 250 logo off the side and you put like an SS logo on it, right? It's like, wait a minute, they didn't make an SS 4-door. Yeah, you're right, they didn't. I would bat an eye, it's missing the back end. Yeah, Mm-hmm. Whoa, your trunk is showing. Sorry. You started early with car stuff. Are you continuing with cars or moving to KSP? We're gonna move to KSP in a little bit. Is the engine matching numbers? Shy, as far as I can tell, I need to take the motor out to check the casting number. As far as I can tell, yeah, it looks right to me. I mean, this car didn't have its RPO plate on it, so it's hard to say. There is an identifier plate that all Mopars from the 60s have. It's on the driver's side fender, inside of the engine bay. It looks like just a stamped piece of tin with a bunch of numbers on it. And it's riveted in. That is gone because this car got hit. It got in a fender bender at some point in the past, and the left front quarter panel was replaced. And when they replaced it, for some reason they took the RPO plate off. I don't know why you would do that, but whatever. Thank you. I hate when people make cars loud just to be cool. I hear that and I just go, tiny you know what. I'll be honest, when I was a lot younger, JDG, this thing was straight piped and it was obnoxiously loud. It sounded like a race car going down the road. I mean, it didn't have any power, but yeah. I did that to kind of stick it to the people that gentrified my neighborhood. That's a whole nother thing. But, you know, you can do dumb stuff like that when you're 22, 23, 24, right? You can get away with that. When you're 37, it's just weird. Yeah, I get what you're saying, man. I don't want this car to be loud when you're driving down the road. No louder than a regular car. No louder than any other car going down the road. I don't want people to know. I'll put slant 6 badging on this thing for all I care. It doesn't bother me. Wait, you have to deal with an HOA? No. No, there's no HOA. It's just, so, guys, all right, this is a little bit of a social thing, a socioeconomic thing. So my family, I'm from Boston, right? I'm not from the city. I'm from the suburbs, if you really want to know. Like just outside of the city, about as close as to the city you can get without being in Boston, right? So I grew up in the suburbs, man. But the thing is that in the burbs, in the 90s into the 2000s, like when I was in high school, the place got gentrified to hell. Like, I'm from Boston, my dad's from Boston, my mom's from Boston, their grandparents are from here. Like, my grandparents, well, my grandparents immigrated here from Italy, right? But I'm like 3rd or 4th generation Massachusetts man, you know, depending on mom or dad's side of the family, right? We've been here. My family's been here for a long time. Dude, in Newton, where I grew up, like, it was a working class neighborhood when I was a kid, like in the 90s. It was just a regular neighborhood, right? But if you're from Eastern Mass, you know what I'm talking about. Boston started to really grow in the 90s because of the Big Dig, because of the tech industry and stuff. The tech industry is huge in Boston. Like Google has offices here, Facebook or Meta has offices here. Everybody, all the big tech companies, because they like recruiting out of MIT and Harvard. That's the big one. So everyone has offices in Cambridge, right? So a lot of money came into Eastern Mass in the 90s, into the 2000s, et cetera, right? So neighborhoods did get gentrified. Dudes, I moved far away from there. The reason why I moved far away from there, is partially because I wanted to get out of the city, but I can't afford to live there. I can't afford it. If I wanted to live in my hometown, I'd pay $1 million for a house. Nope, not doing that. I mean, not that, dude. I don't even have a choice. When Brimo and I were looking for houses, I asked my realtor, kind of halfway kidding, I asked him, I'm like, I'd love to get a house in my hometown, and he laughed at me. He thought I was kidding, and I was kind of partially kidding, but he's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm like, okay, cool. So when I was growing up, there were a lot of people that, moved in, and it kind of sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, like seeing my hometown gentrified and stuff is pretty cool. Like, I'd rather it, seeing where Brimo came from the suburbs of Detroit, and seeing what happens if you go in the opposite direction. Like, I'm happy that, my hometown's doing well, but there's no townies there. It's just all people that move in, like they're doctors, lawyers, and people that work in tech. Like, and by the time I came back from college, 08, 09, right? There was, I mean, dude, like my hometown's unrecognizable. The school was the high school that I went to is gone. The middle school that I went to is gone. The elementary school is gone. My town hall's gone. Like, it doesn't even look like my town anymore. Like, this is not the place I grew up. Like, I don't. The only reason I go up there is because my parents are there. It doesn't even look like the place I grew up.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
I don't know anybody there. My parents don't know anybody there. Like, so the reason why so what does this have to do with anything? The reason why I straight piped this car was to stick it to those people. People that come in from California, they come in from Texas, they come from Florida, they come from wherever, right? Or New York, or New Yorkers. Anyway, and they come in, they have tons of money, they basically erase any culture from like all the towns around here. They want the best for their kid, so demolish the high school and build a new one. And then your tax dollars go up, and then the tax dollars go up, and then they leave. And then I got another tech job in California, bye. They carpet bagged my town. And I'm not really happy about that. I still can't afford to live there. Dude, a garage like this, if I had my property in my hometown, it'd be 3 times the cost of what I paid for it here. Hey Zeke, thanks for the raid. So, like, yeah, same exact thing happened in my hometown. Yeah, Likes, I mean, So yeah, JDG, the reason why I had this car straight piped and it's this big obnoxious rust bucket is because I wanted to stick it to those people. That's, when you're 22, I guess that's fine, right? But yeah, when you're 37, nah, I don't want none of that. I don't need to do that anymore. Charlotte is almost completely transplants at this point. Yeah, Bellum, you know what I mean. Charlotte's like that. Seattle, yeah, I mean, like what Likes was saying, don't even get me started. Like, you go to your hometown, like, when I came back from college, dude, there was still a lot of townies there, but most of them moved because they had to. They couldn't afford the taxes. So I go there, and I don't know anybody. Like, my parents don't know anybody. All the people, all the other families that I grew up with, they all sold their houses. And I don't mean this in a bad way, because I've talked about this before on stream, but all the families that, you know, with kids that I grew up with, they all moved out. They cashed out. They cashed out and moved to Florida. They cashed out and moved to Maine or whatever. And a lot of not mainland Chinese, a lot of Taiwan, people from Taiwan live in my hometown. There's also a lot of mainland Chinese. I know what they're doing. They're getting their money out of China. I get it. Like, I didn't get it until I went and talked to one of them about it, but, you know. I don't know any of these people. I don't know them. I didn't grow up with these folks. I have no idea. My hometown's unrecognizable. Like, if you go to Newton, you look at Newton, Mass from like 2005 and you look at it in 2025, unrecognizable. It doesn't even look like the same place. So, whatever. I'll make new routes here on the South Shore. That's fine. Your parents did that. They live in Spokane on the east side of the state now. Spokane's, dude, like, it's even happening to Spokane. I was talking to a couple of my buddies from out there. Dude, you want to buy a house on Coeur d'Alene? Good luck. Good luck with that. That's not happening. I couldn't believe it, dude. It's ironic. I have a tech job, but I moved to California. I grew up near Seattle, but I can't even afford to live there. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's, sorry, I didn't mean to make it about, you know, didn't mean to make it about that. But yeah, that's why I had this car straight pipe. Not because I need to compensate for anything, because there was another reason. I still have the straight pipes. They're in storage. But yeah, this version of the car, no, we don't need to stick it to people like that. I'm too old to do that crap. JDG, you said it. Dude, I grew up in Spokane. I live out west of Seattle now, south of the Bremerton shipyards. Nice, X-Wing, hell yeah. This is true, remote work ruined the Mountain West. Yep. I talk to viewers that live in Idaho and they're just like, oh boy, I go outside and it smells like weed. Lovely. I have nothing against smoking weed. That's what you want to do. You want to do that. That's fine. I don't care. I mean, I kind of have something against it. I'm sorry. Sorry, man. I don't mean to be a jerk.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Farhan, 82-month resub. My town has really changed from farmland and cattle pastures to subdivisions and HOAs. Yeah, Shogun, I mean, it's happening to us all, dude. It sucks. But yeah, like, my family's working class, and I come from the computer world. I come from tech because of the computers, right? But I don't know, I kind of gravitated back to doing work, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell that's about, but. Hey, Jazz, what's going on, man? How's the renders coming? You know what? I don't have anything wrong against people wanting to toke up or something. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Just, dude, if you're not into it, it smells, man. I can't, like, dude, I don't want to go, and this happens in Boston too. I don't want to go take a walk in the park in Boston Common with my wife, right? And just have it reek of weed. Like, is that bad? Like, I don't know. Am I a jerk? Maybe. I work at an Amazon warehouse, and after every break, we're smelling stuff from people. Funny, but with your pilot's license staying away. Yep. That's why they're edibles. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I like the looks of the East Coast. Reminded me of here in the UK. I mean, it's not called New England for no reason, Couchy. You're not just smelling it, though. That's right. Chazbon, good. I'm mostly finished with a booster now, working on the ship's forward. Tiles are both satisfying and painful. Yep. Yeah, anyway, guys, yeah. That's why I had this straight piped. But that was me from 20 years ago. I hate that I say that. I hate that's a thing, but not now. I moved out of the city and I live with normal people, just regular, normal freaking people. Like, just regular, normal people. That in like the South Shore of Massachusetts, very working class. It reminds me of where I grew up, right? That's why I moved down here. And there's way more car people down here than there There's way more car people down here than there is in my town. There used to be car people in my town, not anymore. They all moved out and got replaced with people that buy BMWs. Not even the good BMWs either, like X5s and stuff. Like, straight pipe, it was straight pipe outdoorsman, but I'm probably gonna cut the straight pipes out and put mufflers back in. Easy peasy, I've done that before. I'm not at all knowledgeable on cars. What does it mean to be straight piped? It means that the exhaust has a straight pipe out the back of the car, no mufflers. Actually, Chazbomb, the exhaust for this actually had what's called a resonator. A resonator, well, it's a glass pack resonator. It actually amplifies the exhaust. It makes it louder, way louder. Dude, if you were driving this down the road, it drones so bad. It would drone so bad because there's no rug, there's no headliner. It just, ugh. Yeah, when you're 20, it's fine. But when you're 37, it gives me a headache. Hey, I have an X5. Sorry, man. Yeah, the exhaust is just a pipe that goes out the back of the car. It is a straight pipe out the back. There's no cat, there's no nothing. It's just, I mean, not that this thing needs a catalytic converter. Need ear protection to drive it. That's how it was, Bellum. It was so loud, dude. This thing was super loud back in the day. I mean, you guys heard it when I did the burnout. It's loud. We have those in the UK, but people put them in silly little box cars. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't put a loud exhaust on this thing to feel tough or anything. I did it to stick it to the man. Because that's fun to do when you're 20. It's kind of lame when you're 20 or when you're 37. But yeah. That's where I'm at, guys. So yeah, let's I don't know, good talk. Give you guys an update. That's what I'm working on. I am making progress on this. I have not stopped. I'm gonna do that leaf spring perch. I gotta take it out. I gotta realign it. That's just a lot of busy work. So I'm gonna do that off stream. And yeah, I'll do that off stream and then we'll go from there. Once I get the perch, and I'm just saying this, so I've already said this on stream, so if you've already heard this, don't worry about it. I'm saying it to reiterate it in my head. So I got to grind this thing out, this piece over here. I got to realign it because I didn't weld it in right. I'm gonna clean up this frame rail, redo the frame rail flanges so they go all the way to the back again. Once that's good to go, I can work on welding the trunk cross member and the rear cross member in. Once those are good to go, trunk pan in, it should line up, everything should be fine. And then once the pan's in, dude, then we do the bumper bracket plates, which are these pieces. They go right here, and then there's one that goes over there. Weld those in to reinforce this area. Reinforce the area for the bumper bracket. And then it's get quarters. Got to get quarter panels. This all needs to be replaced, this blue part right here. From here forward needs to, basically, well, from there down and forward needs to be all replaced. And then once the quarters are replaced, patch up the wheelhouse, so the wheel wells. And once the wheel wells and quarters are done, the car is basically finished from here back. That's huge. That's huge progress. Overall, guys, that doesn't leave much. Getting this whole back end done, two things. One, it's gonna make the car movable again. Because once the rear suspension is hooked back up, we could drive it around. But there's not much left to do. I got to do the rockers. The rockers are not going to be, well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know for sure. Basically, the sides underneath the doors right here, they're called rocker panels. They're gone. They're not there. They are missing. They rusted away. Once I do the rockers on both sides, then it's just the pan. The main pan needs to be patched, and then the torsion bar cross member. And then that's it. Then that's it. The car is back to it's back to a perfectly usable shell. Now, shell meaning the chassis of the car is good to go. These projects on the sides now, I shouldn't say this, but knowing what I know based off of getting the trunk fit, the trunk to fit and everything, this stuff is not going to be nearly as difficult. It's not going to be nearly as difficult. There's no way. There's a lot more to go off of over here on the sides of the car and in the pan. There's a lot more things that are still intact that I can pick up on and use that to mount parts. So it's not going to take nearly as long as this. When I originally started, I said, let's start at the back of the car and go forward, not realizing that there was no back of the car. Seriously, the bottom back of this car from basically where my hand is back was not there. It was gone. So part of the reason why this is taking so long is because I have to figure out, A, I have to figure out what was there, B, make it, and C, put it together. Like, I don't know what the hell was there. I've never done this with a car before. Do we have an engine? It has a 318 in it, 5.2 liter V8 in it right now with a 3-speed automatic behind that Warhammer. I have a 5.7 Hemi engine going in. So, yeah. It's gonna be louder when you drop that motor in it too. Correct, Brandon, yep. Any seats that need repair or any interior that needs to be fixed. The seats have holes in them. The seats are over there. They're under a bunch of things. I did that so they don't get messed up when I'm working on the car. It has a front and rear bench seat. We should probably reupholster them. Should probably do that. My goal, fellas, is to get the car. So like I have milestones and I have steps, just like when we're making a space program. I have milestones. Right now, the big milestone, get the trunk figured out. After that, right, it's get the shell perfect. Get the shell back to stock. From there, I want to take the entire car back to more or less stock. More or less. Unpainted though. And I want to make basically a stock running and driving 69 Coronet as best as I can. That's the major milestone. Once that's good to go, that's when we start picking parts off of the Ram, and that's when we start upgrading things. So my major milestone, the major big milestone is get the shell perfect. I want the chassis of the car to be perfect. I want it to be reinforced. I want it to be stronger than the original one because we're going to put a bigger engine in it. But yeah, the interior, going back to the interior, the seats need to be reupholstered. The seat frames are fine. They're okay. They're a little rusty. I mean, but what isn't on this car? It needs a rug. It needs a headliner. It needs sound deadening. I want this car to be a nice ride. I don't want it to feel like you're driving around a tin can. You know, we talked about the exhaust and stuff. Where will we mount the spoiler? Oh, that's a good question. So I got it right here. The spoiler is going to go right here, like this. See? It fits perfect. I'm just kidding, I'm not doing that. This is a spoiler I got in this is a rear wing for a 280, or a Datsun 280. I got it in a trade for working on the red Camaro. Spoiler alert. Ow! Well, that's broken. It's not. It's fine. You don't hate the spoiler idea though. You can buy the stock spoilers for this car. The stock spoilers don't look too bad, but I'm not doing that. Spoiler never came on a 4-door Coronet. They never came on these things. They only came on 2 doors. And that's one of those things that I don't want to put one on and people be like, what the hell? I don't want that. Needs a Superbird spoiler. It would fit. It would look very strange, but it would fit. How does insurance work on a DIY repaired car? Is it the same as any other car? As long as it, so Chaz, it varies state by state in the United States. Long story short, in Massachusetts, in my state, there's MOT. We have MOT here, same as yours. It's called vehicle inspection, but it's an MOT. You have to have it looked over. It honestly didn't look bad. I'm not doing that, guys. I'm not putting a Datsun spoiler on my 69 Coronet. Yeah, man. You know, it doesn't look like I've made much progress, but we've made a lot of progress. And once this floor and the quarters and the back are burned in and fixed, the back of this car is going to be brand spanking new. And then it's just, the rockers look like they're going to be a little bit of a challenge, but they ain't going to be a challenge as much as this damn thing. What car is that, Vibe Chaser? 69 Coronet. It's under a bunch of parts right now. Most of the parts belong in the car. You know, that's generally the vibe. You know, put the parts in the car. Sorry, man, I'm just being a jerk. All right. Also, when are we getting your Full Flight 11 reaction, please? Oh, drummer, soon. We'll post it. If not, you can always check the VODs on YouTube and stuff. All right, guys, what time is it? It's 12:30. All right, so let's go play some KSP. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, dudes. I am making progress on it, and we'll go. So yeah, leaf spring, fix that. Work on provisions to weld the rear cross member in, provisions to weld the cross member and the trunk pan cross member. And then yeah, once that's all set to go, we burn the rear cross in. We burn the trunk cross in, and then trunk goes in, take final fitment checks, and go from there. That'll be so huge getting that fixed. The other thing, yeah, there is one more thing. The rear fascia of the car, the rear tail panel is junk. It's not doing very well. It doesn't look too bad from here, but that's a whole project in itself, getting that fixed, but it's okay. You know, maybe if I have money in the future, I'll just buy another one. I don't really want to. I'd like to not ship of Theseus this car, but it's a sedan. Who cares? We're already past that point. The whole back of the car is going to be brand new. All the littlest stuff adds up, and it makes a big difference. That's right. Do you think you'll take this career mode really far? Yes. Yeah, man. JDG, one thing that I plan on doing, which I haven't done in past career modes, is play this one out. I'm gonna play this one out. Yeah, we'll see it through. I have plans. I have plans for architectures, and we're just gonna do it. Yep. And here I am dreading to go under my Civic just to change the splash plate that's bent. Yeah, it's just one more bolt, bro. Just one more bolt, man. You just gotta undo 4 bolts, man. It'll fix everything. Please, bro, please, just one more bolt. It'll fix it. No, I know what you mean, dude. I know what you mean. All right, dudes. Let's get out of here. We got Kerbal to play. Stand by for loss of signal from the office as expected. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna jog the YouTube VOD. If you're watching on Twitch, just, yeah, give me 5 minutes. Stream ain't going down. I'll be right back.